Iran backs down. The ceasefire? It's signed. Every major government declares the Strait of Hormuz open. The ships still don't move. Not because of mines, not because of missiles, but because of a committee. The standard expectation is linear. The threat's removed, trade resumes. That's how most people are going to model geopolitical risk. It's not actually how maritime commerce works. Consider the Panama Canal. In 2023, a drought, it cuts transit by 33%. The rates, they tripled. And that's just one canal, moving 4 million barrels equivalent per day. The Strait of Hormuz moves 5 times that, 20 million barrels per day. A commercial tanker, it doesn't move on political will, it moves on insurance, and specifically on war risk coverage, the policy that determines whether a vessel and its cargo are financially protected in a designated conflict zone. And without it, no bank is going to finance the voyage, no flag is going to authorize the departure, and no captain is going to sign that manifest. The military question and the commercial question are not the same question. The gatekeeper of that coverage, it's not the government. It is the Lloyd's Joint War Committee, who are 12 marine underwriters operating out of 1 Lime Street in London. When the committee formally designates a waterway a listed high-risk area, war coverage is automatically suspended across every subscribing protection and indemnity club, also known as a P&I club, and that's globally. Those clubs, they're the ones that underwrite the liability of virtually every commercial vessel on Earth. The designation, it doesn't require military action, it doesn't require a UN resolution, it just requires 12 signatures. And once it's signed, there's no embassy to call, there's no treaty to invoke, and there's no admiral with the authority to override it. Here is the current unit economics. War risk premium per voyage through Hormuz, it's up to $7.5 million per voyage. The average cargo margin on that same voyage, it's about $3 million. As you can see, that math, it doesn't close, and the ships, they're not going to move. Lutz Kilian's model at the Dallas Fed Reserve projects WTI crude at $132 if the strait is closed for 6 months. And that's not a forecast, that's actuarial math, and you're paying for it at the pump. Understanding the mechanism requires understanding what Lloyd's actually is, not a single insurer, a market. A more than 330-year-old syndicate of underwriters whose collective authority over maritime risk, it has no legal successor, no formal government oversight. The Joint War Committee is an operational arm for conflict zone designations. Its current listed areas schedule includes the Persian Gulf, the Gulf of Oman, and the Strait of Hormuz, all currently flagged. The designation is not a sanction and it doesn't require a reason. It requires only a risk assessment. And in the current environment, that assessment, it closes the strait more effectively than any naval blockade ever could. This mechanism does have a precedence. September 12th, 2001. The morning after the attacks, Lloyd's and every major underwriter withdrew their war risk coverage from commercial aviation overnight. No commercial flight departed, not because the FAA grounded them, though it did, but because the insurance market had already closed. The U.S. government responded with $15 billion, 5 in direct grants and 10 in loan guarantees. Public Law 10742 enacted within 10 days. The skies didn't reopen because the threat was resolved. They reopened because Washington made the market whole at $15 billion in public capital. Some of you may have already identified the countermove. If the government backstopped aviation, why not maritime? So here's the structural problem. War risk coverage is one layer, and beneath it sits P&I coverage, the mutual liability network governing cargo damage, crew liability, and environmental exposure on every commercial vessel afloat. These are separate instruments, operated by separate clubs under separate terms. When the Joint War Committee lists a waterway, the cascade of exclusions doesn't stop at war risk. It triggers institute warranty limit clause reviews across P&I clubs that no single sovereign backstop is structured to cover. A government can replace one insurer, but it simply cannot replace a market. The paper veto, it's not really a metaphor. It is the structural mechanism by which financial markets govern trade routes, the same ones that the governments believe they control. Diplomacy can reopen a strait. It cannot reopen a market. Profit? It's not a happy accident. It's a system. Follow for more.